Good morning. Welcome to Derby Deep Dive, Capital OTB's look at the steps along the Derby Trail. I'm Seth Merrow. Thanks for joining us. Plenty to discuss today with a big weekend. I mean, we stepped into last weekend, the 100-point races. They continue this weekend. We have the NTRA top 3-year-old poll. We have 5 of the top 10 facing off this weekend. Gulfstream and Oaklawn. Gulfstream, the Florida Derby. Oaklawn, the Arkansas Derby. We also have a points race over in Dubai, the UAE Derby. Speaking of Dubai, we open early here at the Clubhouse Racebook because of the Dubai race card, which, of course, is early morning until lunchtime, a little after lunchtime with the Dubai World Cup itself. But we open at 9 a.m. here at the Clubhouse Racebook tomorrow. And with the Arkansas Derby going off a little bit later on, we stay open late as well. We're open 9 to 9 tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. right here. Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. So mark that on your calendar. Also, Gulfstream will kick off at 11:30 with a big 14, and I think Oaklawn is 14 too. Oaklawn's last race, local time goes off at about 7:30, and I'm curious how much light is there at 7:30. But the two big cards, obviously, again at Oaklawn and Gulfstream. But with Gulfstream kicking off early with a 14 race card, their first post will be 11:30. So that we're kind of out of the way when their pregame show starts. We will kick off Racing Across America tomorrow at 9 a.m. So keep that in mind, 9 a.m. kickoff tomorrow. Today here on Derby Deep Dive, we caught up with our friend Brian Nadeau and got some of his thoughts on the Florida Derby. And then we'll come back a little bit later on and have some conversation, some news and notes along the Derby Trail, as it were. But again, Brian and I talked a little bit about the Florida Derby for today's show. Then we continued on and discussed some of because again, both tracks, nice cards, nice undercards, particularly at Gulfstream, great undercard of stakes. So we hit on some of the other stakes with Brian, and we'll put that off until tomorrow on Racing Across America. And also I'm going to fire up an interview a little bit later today with Nancy Holthus down at Oaklawn, and so we'll have Oaklawn conversation tomorrow as well on Racing Across America. But today on Derby Deep Dive, as noted, Brian Nadeau joined us, again, part of the team down there at Gulfstream Park, and we took a close-up look at the Florida Derby. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Brian Nadeau, stay tuned.
Right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
The championship season is on at Gulfstream Park. Great horse racing action Thursday through Sunday. Come out and enjoy the world's best horses, trainers, and jockeys as they compete over the Hallandale Beach Oval all season long. Take your experience up a notch and join us in 10 Palms Restaurant with unbeatable track views, outstanding dining, and convenient wagering options. For reservations, event schedules, tickets, and more, head to GulfstreamPark.com.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Big day as far as Derby preps across the country, down in Arkansas Derby at Oaklawn, but at Gulfstream, not only the Florida Derby, but a great undercard of stakes. So who better to talk to than our friend Brian Nadeau? Brian, good morning.
Hey, Seth. Good morning to you. Good to hear and see you. And what a day. Yeah, it wraps up the championship meet closes Sunday, but obviously the highlight, the culmination is Saturday. And wow, what a curling Florida Derby, race number 14. Keep everybody here to the bitter end for an absolute star-studded, by far deepest Kentucky Derby prep all winter.
Yeah, so far I think this is shaping up as the top prep on the Derby Trail. The bluegrass down the road is looking pretty good, but boy, it's a big field on Saturday. Certainly, we're taping on Thursday, but I looked and it looks like your weather's going to be very nice on Saturday as well.
Yeah, we are the old all systems go here in Hollandale Beach. It looks like it's a great weekend. Going to be a big crowd on here, and I don't think they're going to get disappointed, Seth. What a race we're putting out there.
No, we were down for the Fountain of Youth, and I'm envious. I'd love to be down there for this action, not only to enjoy the nice weather, but to enjoy a great race and a great race card. But let's jump right in with race number 14 on Saturday afternoon, the Florida Derby Grade 1 event, $1 million up for grabs, 9 furlongs the trip. The top 3 to me are tough to separate. Nearly, I put that one on top, but Chief Wallaby and Commandment. Chief Wallaby, a couple of weeks ago, the last Derby Future Pool, about a week and a half ago, Chief Wallaby wound up the co-favorite with Paladin, which I found surprising. He had a shorter price than Commandment coming out of the 1-2 finish in the Fountain of Youth. But I wound up with Nearly. I'm very intrigued to see what he does. Todd Pletcher came out of the Holy Bull and said our plan is to go to the Florida Derby, skip the Fountain of Youth. I tried to make a case for the Puma, and I wound up putting him at the bottom of my mix. But again, the top 3 look very intriguing on the Derby Trail currently. How did you see the Derby?
Yeah, it's an interesting, almost a race within the race, because Nearly and Chief Wallaby, they need Derby points, Seth. So in theory, they kind of sort of have to be maybe a little tighter than a Commandment or the Puma, who are the house horses in that they've already qualified for the Kentucky Derby for all intents and purposes. I just feel pretty darn strongly at the end of the day, Commandment's a much better horse. And I also feel that at 9 furlongs in a true race, he's too good for these. Nearly won the Holy Bull, the short stretch finish line. Of course, the Fountain of Youth was the short stretch finish line as well. But you go back and watch that race, and I've said it more than a few times, and you watch Irad Ortiz Jr., who's not aboard Commandment on Saturday. Flavian Pratt will be aboard. But Irad kind of Ramon Dominguez did in deep stretch. He had more horse than he wanted to let on. He almost wrapped up Commandment nearing the wire. You watch this horse gallop out, and again, he just takes off.
They reach the first finish line, top of the stretch mark. On the outside, Chief Wallaby lays down the challenge to Solitude Dude. Commandment with a big opening toward the rail. The Red Sea parts for Commandment, and he's charging after Chief Wallaby to the first finish line. Commandment on the inside, Chief Wallaby to the outside. Commandment with the momentum. Chief Wallaby makes him earn it. Commandment, Chief Wallaby. Commandment wins the Fountain of Youth.
It was something to behold when he did that in the Mucho Macho Man. He did it again in the Fountain of Youth. I think he's a horse that wants to run all day, and I just think this trip is going to be better for him on Saturday. I like him. I do agree with you with Nearly. I think he's poised to run a big race. He's got to. He needs points. He skipped the Fountain of Youth. He's fresh. But with that being said, this race is so much more difficult than the Holy Bull.
And they're at the top of the stretch. 3/4, 1:10-1. It's Nearly who has the lead. He'll have to turn back Bravaro, who moves up on the outside, and he's the only danger. Cannoneer is back third, then Global Aviator, and they're on their way home. Nearly shaken up for the drive by Johnny V, still responding with a 3-length lead, and Bravaro is destined for second. The 2026 Holy Bull goes to Centennial Farms. Nearly in a dominant display. He won by 7.
Nearly was on top of really hellacious fractions. I don't think he can do that again here and stick around. So I put him in second. I'm not sold on Chief Wallaby, A, wanting to run this far, and B, just being able to go back to the well after he ran so huge in the Fountain of Youth. A lot of people think he'll move forward off that, and I understand it, but this is now going to be his third absolutely hard race in a short period of time. I did not think he was finishing as good as Commandment in the Fountain of Youth, and I think Commandment, like I said already, has a much more of a license to appreciate this trip better. The Puma was too slow to me, to be perfectly honest. I know you have to be impressed with the way he won the Tampa Bay Derby. He was wide every step of the way, but he's going to have to improve several lengths, and he's already got the Derby points. So how tight is he going to be anyway? he's a big play against for me.
I'm intrigued to see what the odds shape up at when they get into the gate, because as I say, Chief Wallaby taking the action last week in the future pool, I found surprising. And so I'm going to be interested to see, the Bill Mott factor may play into it. So I'm intrigued to see who goes off eventually as the favorite, because again, Commandment beat him last time. And I'm kind of with you. Commandment to me is maybe more logical as the favorite, but that future pool last week said no. And Nearly, again, I went back and forth on Nearly. You do have to look. The sixth place finisher in that Holy Bull was incredible, who came back to win the Virginia Derby. Now, that seemed like an aberrational race in the Holy Bull for Incredible. So I'm not sure what to make of that and whether he was flattered or not. Bravero eventually came back and ran fourth in the Fountain of Youth. So it's really intriguing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Bravero is just not very good, at least at 2 turns. And all those guys in the Fountain of Youth beat him more than Nearly beat him. Chief Wallaby's your morning line favorite, Seth. I think they're going to bet him. I think people are going to be, at least they're going to note that Irad Ortiz took off Commandment to ride Renegade in the Arkansas Derby, and I think that'll hold weight too.
The championship season is on at Gulfstream Park. Great horse racing action Thursday through Sunday. Come out and enjoy the world's best horses, trainers, and jockeys as they compete over the Hallandale Beach Oval all season long. Take your experience up a notch and join us in 10 Palms Restaurant with unbeatable track views, outstanding dining, and convenient wagering options. For reservations, event schedules, tickets, and more, head to GulfstreamPark.com.
If you don't have a Capital OTB account yet, now is the time to log on and take advantage of the sign-up bonus. More details at capitalotb.com. Become a Capital OTB account member now and enjoy free past performances, wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, contests, promotion and events, and more. So sign up now and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back. And again, we'll have more of that interview. If it seemed to cut off abruptly, it did, because we continued the conversation on some of the other stakes races, but we cut it off after we talked about the Florida Derby. But we'll have more with Brian tomorrow, looking at some of the undercard stakes as well on a really, really nice card at Gulfstream. And I think I said before that five of the top 10 in the this week's NTRA Thoroughbred poll were running tomorrow. It's actually 6 because I forgot the Puma. Puma's sitting number 10 on the list, and he is also in the mix. And 4 of them we discussed with Brian, Commandment, Nearly, Chief Wallaby, and the Puma. And 2 more are over at Oaklawn, Silent Tactic, and Renegade. And the Thoroughbred poll looks like this. Paladin on top. I think he's on top on a lot of folks' polls, and we'll look for him. Bluegrass looks to be the start. So he's number 1, 22 first place votes. Commandment, and again, this is the weekly NTRA poll. Commandment second with 7 first place votes. Nearly third, couple of first place votes. Then you go to Class President, then Silent Tactic again running this weekend. Emerging Market with the win last weekend actually got 1 first place vote, but sitting 6th on the poll this week. Renegade 7th, Chief Wallaby 8th, Patante 9th, and again, the Puma is 10th. Incredible 11 on the list. Full Effort 12 from last week as well. So there are your top 10 vote getters in this week's NTRA poll. And again, through the Triple Crown, they do 2 polls. They do a weekly 3-row poll and an overall poll. Once the Triple Crown gets over, they just consolidate everything into that one Thoroughbred poll. And I will give you the broader Thoroughbred poll. Sovereignty's on top, Forever Young second. He'll be running this weekend too over in Dubai. Nice Skippy Longstocking after the win in the Essex last week at Oaklawn, following up the Pegasus win, and Knightsbridge. They're your top 5 overall in the poll. Brian mentioned, a couple of horses that need points this week. And if that factors into your thinking, and for some of these, I'm sure it probably should, because if you have enough points, this isn't the goal necessarily this weekend. But if there's $1 million up for grabs, you're probably trying. You're certainly trying to get in the mix. But to break it out into of those horses we've named or top runners that are going this weekend and maybe need points and maybe don't, here's how it breaks out. And again, I mentioned last week, you can pull up the leaderboard, which has great information, and it's put out by the folks at Churchill every week. But you can find it if you go to Equibase. Front page of Equibase has a top 3-year-old points list, and it lists the top 10, and then down at the bottom it says click here for the entire list or something of that nature. You click on that and you come out with this nice PDF that is sent out again by Churchill. It covers the leaderboard not only for the Derby but for the Oaks, but it breaks down the points. Everybody who has points is on this list. It's a long list, and it tells you the points races, the results of those, which points races are coming up. Breaks out the European Mid-East Road to the Kentucky Derby, which again this weekend will play out with the UAE Derby. And I'm just looking, this is the last step on that European Mid-East Road. It also breaks out the Japanese Road, and they actually have a points race this weekend as well over in Japan. That's a 40-point race over there. Top, the winner gets 40, 2012, 8 and 4. The UAE Derby is a 100 points race. So again, all the races this weekend, UAE and here in the United States, 100 points up for grabs. And as I say, you can pull up this nice breakdown of all of that information via the front page on Equibase and that list. Again, the list on the page is the top 10, but click on for the entire list. Again, it says something to that effect. And to break out, once again, what's remaining this weekend, Florida Derby, Arkansas Derby, they're 100 points races, but again, that's to the winner. 100, 50, 25, 15, 10. 50 is going to get you in. So a second place gets you in. And if you already have some points, a third place 25 probably gets you in. And I mentioned last week, part of this list also, they have what has gotten horses into the starting gate in the Kentucky Derby since the points were initiated. And I look back at last week, the last, 5 or 10 years maybe. And the last horse on the list is typically in the 20 to 30 point range. So horses that have 20 or 30 points aren't necessarily out, but if you have 20 or 30 points, it's indicating you aren't necessarily, you're a late bloomer maybe, or you've run some of these points races and haven't gotten them. So the 20 points maybe gets you in, maybe a sneak in, but I think a lot of people with 20 points are probably, let's head someplace else. But if it's your one shot maybe ever at the Derby, you take your pop perhaps. But anyway, to again, reel off where some of the weekend runners are points-wise. Some of them, as I say, 50 points is going to get you in. The Puma has 56. Silent Tactic has 50. Commandment has 50. Litmus Test gets a little shakier with 34. And again, you're looking historically, 34 is probably good. I don't know whether you would feel you're guaranteed, and you certainly aren't guaranteed if you're Renegade with 25, Chief Wallaby with 25, and Nearly with only 20. They're definitely looking for efforts this weekend that put them up the points list where they can feel a little more confident. So again, Gulfstream Park, Florida Derby, and great undercard of stakes. But the Florida Derby scheduled golf about 6:45 tomorrow. And again, they will kick things off at 11:30 at Gulfstream. I went with nearly Chief Wallaby Commandment, the Puma. You go beyond that, I think it would be a notable upset. But with those four in there, they are, again, they're sitting on the top 10 list. They are four of the more notable players in the division at this point, which I think does make this Florida Derby up until this point maybe the strongest prep. Over in Arkansas, you have some players as well. I will note Napoleon Solo, who I'm interested to see what we get in the follow-up to the Fountain of Youth performance, which was off a long layoff. The Champaign last year, in only the second career start, was a really good-looking victory. They said right after it, we're going to go to the sidelines and come back, get our 3-year-old season. So skip the Breeders' Cup, came back after an October to late February start in the Fountain of Youth. Far turn, I thought, pretty good, because I took a pop with Napoleon Solo in the Fountain of Youth. And the betting public was kind of right there too, 3-1, so it was taking a lot of action, but then faded and was well-beaten fifth. But with that one under the belt, they entered in the Arkansas Derby, but they're going to, it sounds like, go to the Wood at Aqueduct. And again, I don't think I finished reading that list of races this week. 100-point races, Florida Derby and Arkansas Derby. And again, it's 150, 25, 15, and 10. Next weekend, the Wood Memorial, the Bluegrass, and the Santa Anita Derby, wrapping up the 100 points races. So really the heavy lifting will be done next Saturday. All of the heavy lifting will be done at the end of the day next Saturday. But there's a last chance kind of points race the week later, April 11th at Keeneland in the Lexington. It's a 20-point race, 20, 10, 6, 4, and 2. So folks who are maybe feeling like we're sitting on the sidelines, maybe, or we're on the cutting edge points-wise, they can try to pick up another 20 and move themselves into the competition. But that's how your points races shape up. And again, at Oak Lawn in the Arkansas Derby, it looks like Napoleon Solo will opt for the Wood, but you have Renegade and Silent Tactic in there. Strategic Risk, the other Silent Tactic, has looked good in the last two, the Southwest and the Rebel. Strategic Risk, who won the Smarty Jones over barnmate Silent Tactic, kind of went in the wrong direction, but I think he, if I'm not mistaken, he might be coming back this weekend too, and you know, maybe a confidence builder, but he went the wrong way after, as they say, looking good in a couple of starts towards the end of last year, beginning of this year. So I'm going to be interested to see if he can rebound. But that said, Silent Tactic picked up the mantle and went ahead with the win in the Southwest. Close-up finished the class president in a kind of a ding-dong battle in the Rebel. So Silent Tactic is interesting. I tilted towards Renegade. He's clearly going to take a lot of action off the win in the Sam Davis. Good-looking win in the Sam Davis. The Puma ran third there and came back to run well and flattered Renegade a little bit. So we'll see. Litmus Test is also in there for Bob Baffert. So, again, you have three of the notable players on the list. I'm just looking where Litmus Test is sitting at maybe 20 on the list, it looks like. Past the top 10, they just list them. They don't number them. So, but Litmus Test did get some votes in the NTRA poll. But Renegade and Silent Tactic, again, both sitting in the mix. Silent Tactic at 5, Renegade at 7. I think they'll be flip-flopped in the odds, but it'll be interesting to see how it works out down at Oak Lawn tomorrow. And again, tomorrow on Racing Across America, we will have Nancy Holthus join us from Oak Lawn to go over the Arkansas Derby, and they have a nice little undercard of stakes as well. And as noted, UAE Derby tomorrow as well at Meydan in Dubai. And it's kind of interesting. I pulled up the winners of the UAE Derby to see how they fared, because it's a point race. It's a 100-point race, points race. And many of them have gone. Going back to 2017, we had, the 5 winners. There wasn't a race in COVID 2020, but we've had 5 winners of the UAE Derby go on to the Kentucky Derby. None of them really, actually we had 6 go on, and none of them made a whole lot of noise necessarily. Thunder Snow 2017 did not finish the Kentucky Derby, but went on to win the Dubai World Cup in 2018 and 2019. Mendelssohn finished 20th in the Kentucky Derby, no wins after that. Plough, K. Parfait, 8th in the Kentucky Derby, 6th in the Belmont, no wins after that. Rebels Romance won in 2021, but he didn't do the Kentucky Derby. Did have 6 more Grade 1 wins after the UAE Derby, though, including the 2024 Breeders' Cup Turf. Crown Pride, 13th in the Kentucky Derby, won a couple of graded stakes after that. Derma Sotogaki, 6th in the Kentucky Derby. Then in 2023 was 2nd in the Breeders' Cup Classic. 2024, Forever Young won the UAE Derby and ran 3rd in the Kentucky Derby. Won the 2025 Breeders' Cup Classic. And last year was Admire Daytona, 19th in the Kentucky Derby. So again, mixed results as far as the follow-up career. Haven't done much in the Kentucky Derby, but some of these winners have had some nice results. Brotherly Love looks interesting to me. 6 Speed is going to be the one to watch. Comes into this off a nice win streak and is going to take a lot of action in that UAE Derby. It's going to go off our time at about 9:30 on Saturday morning. It's race 4 at Dubai. And again, we open early here at the Clubhouse Racebook on Saturday morning tomorrow to take advantage of that action in Dubai. 9 a.m. start, 9 a.m. doors open here at the Clubhouse Racebook. Don't forget today here at Capital OTB, if you'd like to stop down to the Clubhouse Racebook, Players Bankroll, a little extra fun available to you here at the Racebook this afternoon. Stop by, see if you can get on the Players Bankroll team. I'm going to have a $150 online bankroll, pick 3 bankroll to play. The team's been selected, but if you tune in during the afternoon, we'll pop in with the selections and plays. You can root along. Syndicate Special tomorrow. Again, that team has been picked as well. We'll post the ticket on the website and on social media. Good luck to the Syndicate team tomorrow. But some extra fun. If you didn't get on the Syndicate team, Clubhouse Racebook tomorrow, it's the Match Bet promotion. Come on down, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. All right, I'm going to wrap it up for Derby Deep Dive on this Friday morning. Thanks for joining us. Again, we're back tomorrow early. Programming note, 9 a.m. tomorrow for Racing Across America with the early 11:30 start at Gulfstream. So mark your calendar, 9:30 tomorrow, Racing Across America. See you then. We'd like to thank Gulfstream Park for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming and events here at Capital OTB. Gulfstream Park's championship meet features great racing now through Florida Derby weekend at the end of March.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.